Why doesn't ChatGPT remember what I told it yesterday? If you've ever asked that question, you're not alone. It's the most common frustration people have with AI tools. Today, we're going to talk about why AI doesn't remember you, and more importantly, what you can actually do about it. You've been there. You spent 20 minutes yesterday explaining your entire project to ChatGPT. You detailed your goals, your constraints, your preferences. The AI helped you work through some tough decisions, and you felt like you were finally making progress together. Today, you open a new conversation to continue where you left off, and the AI acts like it's never met you before. You're strangers again. All that context, all that shared understanding from yesterday, gone. This is the number one frustration people have with AI tools. And here's the thing, it's not a bug that needs fixing. It's a fundamental design choice about how these systems work. Understanding why AI doesn't remember you, and more importantly, what you can actually do about it, changes how you use these tools completely. There's a big gap between what people expect and what's actually happening under the hood. Most people assume AI maintains some kind of memory file about them, like a personal assistant who takes notes during every meeting and can reference them later. You tell it your preferences once and it remembers. You explain your project, and that explanation carries forward. It knows you. But that's not how any of this works. Every single conversation starts completely fresh. When you click New Chat, the AI doesn't pull up your file and review your history. It gets a blank context window with zero information about who you are or what you've discussed before. The previous conversation isn't saved somewhere accessible, it's just gone. Everything resets. You're talking to a system with zero memory of your existence. Remember from video 2, AI operates through a limited context window. Think of it like reading a book through a small window that only shows 10 pages at a time. The AI can see what's in front of it right now, but everything before and after is invisible. That window slides forward as the conversation continues, but it's temporary. When you start a new conversation, that window resets to empty. Nothing from previous sessions exists in that window. The AI has no mechanism to reach back and grab content from yesterday's conversation or last week's discussion. This isn't a limitation we'll eventually fix with better technology. It's a foundational design decision about how these systems operate. To have true memory, three things would need to work perfect together. First, storage. The system would need to save everything you've ever said, organize it, index for quick retrieval. That's already a massive technical challenge at scale. Second, identity. All that stored information needs to connect to you specifically. The system needs to know this person talking to me right now is the same person who talked about the marketing campaign last Tuesday. It needs perfect identity management across sessions, across devices, across platforms. Third, retrieval. And this is the hardest part. The system needs to automatically determine which parts of your past conversation are relevant to your current question. If you've had 100 conversations, which previous context matters for this new question? How does it decide? You need all three working seamlessly. Miss even one component and the whole thing falls apart. And right now, implementing this for millions of users creates problems that most AI companies have decided aren't worth solving. Three big reasons why true memory hasn't been built into most AI systems. Privacy is a massive liability. If AI companies stored complete conversation histories for millions of users, a single data breach would expose incredibly sensitive information. Every detail you've ever shared with ChatGPT, every business strategy you've discussed with Claude, every personal problem you've worked through, all in one database waiting to be hacked. The risk is enormous. Storage costs add up fast. Maintaining detailed conversation history for millions of active users isn't cheap. We're talking about astronomical infrastructure expenses. Every message you send, every response generated, all saved and indexed forever. The costs scale brutally. And then there's the technical complexity that nobody's really solved yet. Determining which past information matters for your current question is an unsolved AI problem. You've discussed 50 different topics over 3 months. Which previous context is relevant to your ask about your marketing strategy today? Getting that wrong creates more problems than it solves. These aren't bugs that companies haven't gotten around to fixing. They're intentional design decisions balancing functionality against cost, privacy, and technical feasibility. AI can't truly remember you, but you can create persistence through strategic approaches. Built-in features are easiest to implement but give you limited capability. Manual systems require more effort but give you maximum control. External tools are the most powerful but require some setup. The key insight here is matching your solution to your actual needs. You don't need the same approach for every conversation. A quick question about Python syntax doesn't need the same preparation as a complex multi-week project. Most major platforms now offer custom instructions. ChatGPT has them, Claude has them. They let you set persistent context that applies to every new conversation. Think of it like wearing a name tag to every meeting. You don't have to reintroduce yourself each time, but the other person still doesn't remember your previous conversations. They just know who you are right now. You set those once in your settings, and they follow you everywhere on that platform. Every new conversation starts with this context already loaded. It's the easiest approach because it requires basically zero ongoing effort. Custom instructions work best for static information that rarely changes and applies broadly. Your role and industry. I'm a real estate agent specializing in commercial properties. That doesn't change conversation to conversation. How you want responses formatted. Always provide answers and bullet points with actionable next steps. That's a consistent preference across all your work. Your experience level with certain topics. I'm intermediate in Python, but new to machine learning. That helps AI calibrate its explanations appropriately. Recurring preferences about style and approach. Skip boilerplate explanations and focus on practical implementation. That applies to everything you ask. This is your persistent baseline context. It doesn't solve everything, but it eliminates repetitive reintroductions. But custom instructions have clear limits. They can't remember specific projects. They won't track the marketing campaign I discussed last Tuesday or that budget analysis from last week. Projects are dynamic and specific, too detailed for static instructions. They can't track ongoing conversations, the decisions you made yesterday, the problems you solved last week, the directions you've already explored. None of that carries forward. They don't update dynamically. As your projects evolve and your needs change, custom instructions stay frozen unless you manually update them. And honestly, who updates these regularly? And they definitely can't recall previous outputs. That perfect response AI generated for you last month, gone. Custom instructions won't bring it back. The reality check here is important. Custom instructions aren't actual memory, they're just persistent context. The AI still doesn't remember you, it just has a better baseline instructions about who you are. Approach number 2 is conversation starters. This is manual memory through systematic documentation. Instead of hoping the AI remembers, you explicitly provide context at the start of each new conversation. Create a reusable template that you fill in and paste at the beginning of important conversations. It takes a few extra minutes up front, but it ensures the AI has exactly the context it needs to help you effectively. This approach gives you complete control. You decide what information carries forward and what gets left behind. You choose which context matters for each specific conversation. A good template has 4 parts. Who I am covers your role, experience level, relevant constraints, and working style preferences, the stable context about you as a person. What I'm working on describes your current project context, key stakeholders, timeline, success criteria, the specific situation you're navigating now. What we've done captures key decisions already made, approaches you've tried, lessons learned, and progress to date. This prevents the AI from suggesting things you've already ruled out. What I need states today's specific goal, expected output format, and any immediate constraints or deadlines. This focuses the conversation on the actual task at hand. This structure ensures you provide comprehensive context while keeping it organized and scannable for both you and AI. You're not just dumping information, you're structuring it for maximum utility. Not every conversation deserves this level of preparation. Use conversation starters for high stakes projects with significant consequences, critical business decisions, complex multi session work, and evolving requirements. Situations where missing context could cause real errors. Just start fresh for one off questions with no prior context needed. Simple standalone tasks, low stakes exploratory conversations, general information requests. Match your level of importance to the outcome. A quick question about Excel formulas doesn't need a four-part context template. A project that could determine your promotion probably does. The most powerful approach uses technology we covered back in video 9, RAG, or Retrieval Augmented Generation. Instead of you manually providing context, the system searches your knowledge base and automatically pulls in relevant information. You ask a question. The system searches your documents, your notes, your previous outputs. It finds the relevant sections and loads them into AI's context window automatically. The AI then generates a response using that retrieved information. This scales far beyond what manual effort could achieve. You're not copying and pasting context. You're not maintaining templates. The system handles retrieval automatically based on what you're asking about. External systems unlike capabilities that manual approaches simply can't match. You can maintain a comprehensive project knowledge base that automatically informs every AI conversation. As you work, you're building a living repository that makes future work easier. Teams can collaborate using the same context. Multiple people can access the same knowledge base, ensuring consistent AI outputs across your organization. Nobody's working in isolation with their own fragmented context. And your knowledge base grows and evolves organically. As you add new information and learn from projects, that automatically becomes available for future AI conversations. The system gets more valuable over time. Each approach has distinct advantages and limitations. Custom instructions require one-time configuration, but only give you basic persistence. They're free and need rare updates, but the capability is limited. Manual starters require effort every conversation, but give you medium control. Also free, but you're doing per session prep work. External systems need significant initial setup, but provide high automation. Usually paid services, and you need ongoing curation, but you get full team scalability and powerful capabilities. Choose based on your specific needs, technical comfort, and available resources. Most people end up using a combination. Here's a simple decision framework to determine which approach fits your situation. Do you need to remember things across conversations? If no, you're done. Just start fresh each time. If yes, ask, is this a static information that really changes? If yes, use custom instructions. If no, ask, is it project specific? If no, you probably don't actually need persistence. If yes, keep going. Is it high stakes or complex? If yes, use manual conversation starters. If no, still probably fresh start. Are you managing many projects or working with a team? If yes, consider external systems. Most people will use a combination depending on the situation. Custom instructions for baseline context, manual starters for important projects, and external systems when scaling up. Marketing materials love to talk about AI with memory. They make it sound like the AI is learning about you and remembering your conversations. Here's what's actually happening: automated context loading from stored information. It's still the same pattern completion we discussed in video 1. It's still operating with the same context window limitations from video 2. Even the most sophisticated memory features are really just automatic retrieval systems. The AI doesn't remember you. It's just getting better at loading relevant past information into its current context window automatically. Understanding this distinction matters because it sets realistic expectations. You're not building a relationship with an AI that knows you. You're building information management systems that make AI more useful. 3 things to remember from this video. First, persistence doesn't equal memory. What looks like memory is actual clever information management and retrieval systems. The AI itself has no memory. You're creating the illusion of continuity. Second, you create continuity, not the AI. The AI doesn't remember you. You provide the thread that connects conversations over time through custom instructions, manual context, or retrieval systems. Third, choose your approach strategically. Not every conversation requires the same level of context management. Match your efforts to your needs. Understanding these limitations helps you work more effectively with AI tools and set realistic expectations for what they can and can't do. This is part of our Making AI Make Sense series. We've covered how AI really works under the hood, and now you understand why memory isn't what it seems and what you can actually do about it. If you need help implementing these strategies for your specific business, That's exactly what we do at Eau Claire AI. Visit eauclaireai.com to start a conversation. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.